Yo,
What
yo.
up?
What's
Good
up?
morning. Good
Long
morning, Daniel.
time.
Another love. Good morning, boys and girls out there in Fuckoville. How we doing?
I salute your shorts, my good man. What's up?
It's another lovely Sunday morning out here in Florida.
Bro, Sunday sucks.
55 degrees and cloudy.
Yo, fun fact, you know Flo Rida is one of the top 10 best-selling rappers of all time?
I mean, he got low,
That's a
low,
fact.
low. He did.
But he's
He
not
like. I think. I
he's a
think the
flow
biggest.
rider. Flow
He
rider.
rode the flow in Florida. I think the biggest thing with him was
His beef with
that
Riff
he
Raff.
liked girls with boots with the fur. I think that was his downfall.
I think
I
him
think,
and Riff Raff are secretly beefing.
dude, Riff Raff might be my fucking idol, by the way.
I think
Like, like, tell me if you couldn't just die right now and be reincarnated as somebody. Like, he doesn't top the list.
I want
It's
to
like DiCaprio, Derek Jeter, and then Riff Raff.
I'm gonna send him a DM and just be like, "Yo, how would you feel about being the icon for this podcast?"
Dude, he's the Peach Panther,
I
the
just
Cranberry
I don't want
Vampire.
I don't want like a cease and desist where they're like, "Take that picture down." But I feel like there's no way he put rights on his image. There's zero chance. His image changes every 4 seconds. He's had
Well, didn't
every
he?
color hair you could ever imagine.
He is the white 6ix9ine.
6ix9ine just dropped an
That's
album.
dude. That's a collaboration. I think that the world needs to heal.
You know that,
6ix9ine
right?
and Riff Raff.
He just dropped
What?
an album, Blackball.
Wait, did he really?
He did.
Is
He
that
did.
Apple Music? I'm looking right now.
It's
Talk amongst
absolutely on
yourselves.
Apple Music. I saw it on his Instagram the other day, and I was like, "This is a
I saw him in
win."
a I saw him in a body of water with a very, very attractive girl. And that's as far as it went for me.
I mean, he pays for Photoshop in real life.
Oh yeah. Every girl that he dates looks like she was made in Dr. Frankenstein's laboratory of like porn. Where is this? Let me see. I'm looking for this. This is
Blackball.
the first time I had to search this far for a 6ix9ine. Let's see. Yeah, hey, like them apples, 6ix9ine.
Monster impressive.
So how was your week? Well, I'm looking up terrible music. How was your week?
Bro, I did something that I'm super excited about, and I can't
Oh
fully
shit,
talk
here it
about it
is.
because I signed paperwork that I couldn't fully talk about it.
Oh,
However,
like a DNA,
like an NDA,
an NDA. Yeah, I knew it was one of those. I'm dyslexic.
I mean,
What do you
listen,
want from me?
the arrangement of letters, they're all the right ones. But I did go see a Beat Bobby Flay filming.
Oh, that's fucking awesome. Where do they film that?
Bro, they film it in Long Island City.
No shit. I would have thought that would have been like Manhattan.
No. They used to film it at 106 in Park, but they moved it at some point after COVID. But no,
Talk
like
about
bro,
a
it's just
contrast in things that they show there. You got like, remember 106 and Park was like Freestyle Fridays and like hip hop videos, and then
bro, it was
those people
TRL,
leave,
but for
and
BET.
yeah, those people leave, and then Bobby Flay checks in. Like, talk about there's two like completely different like shows
Bro,
in the same building.
it was wild. Like they have a really big studio. Like they kept us there all day. Like it's crazy. Because like when you think about it, it's 30 minutes of TV, which is actually like 24 after like
Right,
commercials. But it
if that.
takes about 4 hours to film.
Oh yeah, dude. So wait, so you're telling me they're not cooking those things in real time?
No, so that's the craziest shit. The entire so everything is like broken down except the actual cook times.
That's
The
done in the
actual
time
cook
they say.
times,
It's not a lie.
like it's 20 minutes, 45 minutes. So like the thing is they need to get everything straight because when the cooking time starts,
Hmm.
every camera needs to be on the food because
Really?
they don't get a chance to redo anything.
No, of course not. But they're
So
not lying about it. They're not like splicing it together. Like they're actually cooking in the time that they say they are.
yeah,
And it's an hour show, isn't it?
it's 30 minutes.
Is it really?
The holiday ones were an hour, so like I can only
Mm.
imagine what it was like to witness filming one of them. But like I thought we were set. Like we had one of the like you've watched the episode before, right? We had
Of
one of
course,
those
it's on
spots
24
where
hours in
we
my
had
house.
yeah where we were sitting like by the railing, and I was like, "Yo, this is great! Like we get to sit the whole time,
Do you pick
bro."
your seats, or is it just where you are online?
No, it was so we were first 40 because it's a pretty big audience, but like where we were, they were like, "All right, you guys have to sit underneath the railing right by the bell."
Yeah.
So we were right by the bell. We were
Did you get to
saved by
ring the
it.
bell?
No, I wanted to.
Dude, So wait, so how does that work? Like you go and get tickets, or is it kind of like you show up and just wait till
No,
like
bro,
midnight?
like they had open casting, right?
Okay.
So there's this company you go through. They were actually advertising it on Instagram. Um, Rebecca actually set me up a profile. So when they opened the casting call, she just clicked request tickets. If you're one of the
Mm-hmm.
people selected, they send you the information like 2 days in advance. You have to commit to the 10 hours. But bro, like it's dope.
10 hours, a lot.
It's paid.
What?
Yeah, we got paid for it.
Really? How much? You're not allowed to say.
$400.
Shut up.
Swear to God, 200 each.
Really?
Yeah, paid audience, bro.
$10 an hour
Wild.
to do nothing.
I sat there and they fed me twice.
You get to eat the food they make?
No, God, no. I would love to because it was the battle was like a food I would definitely want to eat.
Are you allowed to say?
No,
No? Oh,
I can
okay,
only
because
speak
it's
in very general.
got it.
However, Bobby is a G because like the first episode he was further away from me, so I couldn't really see it that much, so it kind of sucked. But the
Right.
second episode, he was at the one right by us, so like I got to actually
Dude,
watch like Bobby Flay cook for like 45 minutes.
is he amazing in real life? Like, or is he like one of those celebrity chefs that people just like, but like he's not as talented as TV makes him look?
No, no,
Or is
no.
he like,
Like he's reached the point where like what he does. Like I think who was it? Who the fuck said it? But whatever. But he's reached the point where even when he does complicated shit, it looks simple.
wow?
Like he is just,
Remember in Entourage when he was fucking Ari's ex-wife and he's like, "Not now, Robert." I always wanted to say that to him if I ever met him.
dude. Oh my god. I really wish I would have thought of that because like those Entourage is one of my favorite shows of all time.
That's not surprising.
And when he found out his wife was like banging Bobby Flay, he
I
God,
love it.
he can't act at all. But it's fine.
Dude, fucking Flay's been famous for that long. That's wild.
Dude, Flay is like he rode in right behind Emerald for the Food Network. Emerald
Yeah. Oh,
bounced.
dude. Emeril Lagasse built the fucking Food Network and Flay carried it and Fieri's ushering it into its new era.
Yeah.
Like, they're on the Mount Rushmore of like, then you just put Julia Childs just because she's like the OG. The four of them are like on the Mount Rushmore of like TV chefs, bro.
No, it's without a doubt. But the crazy thing is that Fieri's not really a TV chef, is he? Like, would you?
He's not a chef at all.
He is a chef though. Like, he can cook. Like, sometimes he like
Yeah, but he
participates.
didn't graduate from the culinary program from UNLV. He graduated from the business side of it. He
I
didn't
mean,
do the culinary. He did the hospitality.
he does business super well.
I have an autographed menu from one of his old restaurants right here. See?
Really?
Pan the camera up. Yeah.
Is that really a Guy Fieri menu?
Yeah, it's from when he used to be part owner of Johnny Garlic's in California.
That's such an interesting thing that you have just hanging randomly for this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, I mean not for this podcast. It's in my kitchen, but I mean, it's where it belongs.
Oh,
But yeah, it was actually a gift.
it's so cool. Guy
Yeah.
Fieri's actually the man. Like he's
Oh,
actually the
dude.
man.
If I
But
walked in on him and Flay like pounding my sister, I wouldn't even care. I'd pull up a fucking chair and ask what's for dinner. You know, that's how much of their respect that I have.
every once in a
I
while,
think I said
you
that
need to
backwards.
pop
How
up
much of
like
my respect they have. That's
mature content
We'll
only.
edit
I
that.
really need to figure out how to get that on here.
I mean, listen, we're on YouTube. We're a podcast. We're not. Listen, one thing I've learned about being a father
A
is
scarcely funded podcast.
other than getting yelled at all the time by a very tiny human being for doing mundane things like putting on a shirt, changing a diaper. He bit me the other day. I stopped him from doing something that he didn't want to do, and I picked him up and gave him a hug, and he bit me on my shoulder.
How do you
Yeah, he's
feel?
a creature. That was great.
Are those teeth
And
strong yet?
huh?
Those teeth, are they strong? Are they
Dude,
out?
he's got a lot of teeth. He's got like 12 teeth. He's almost got a full mouth. He's an animal. And so other than that, it's also watching like Ms. Rachel like on a 24-hour loop mixed with like Bluey and Coco Melon.
I don't
So,
know who any of these people are. I don't have a child.
I'll be honest with you. Ms. Rachel's a genius. Do you know she's like, all right, so she was like a New York City school teacher, I think, that like wanted to be a singer because she can sing pretty well, and she just didn't make it as a singer. And she made this YouTube channel on how to like teach like babies and stuff, like how to talk and like colors and stuff. and she exploded on YouTube, dude. She actually has a line of like kids toys coming out with her name on it. Like she's a sensation. She is the literal definition of a sensation.
Yeah, bro.
Like
Like
it's
when it
wild.
comes to like overall audience and shit, like it's just a different game.
Yeah,
Like
oh yeah.
it's 100% a different game. Like it doesn't matter. Like look at Guy Fieri. Like he runs. Like at one point before Bobby Flay like did his thing, he had the most expensive contract in Food Network history, and he's not a chef.
Yeah. It was like 80 something $1 million. I
Yeah, and
think
then
Flay got
Bobby
over
came in and
100.
was like, "Nope,
Dude,
I
and they're all friends. Do you ever see the pictures like Gordon Ramsay,
no, I've
the
never
British
yes,
dude?
but you know who's not in that picture?
Who?
Flay,
Emerald. No,
Flay.
Flay. I've seen Flay, Fieri, Giada in the same picture with what's his name. He's actually buddies with what's his name. You would never think it. Is like the fourth guy in their crew. The brolic British dude. I can't think of his name.
Oh, Mission Restaurant Impossible,
Yeah, Robert.
Irvine,
Not Robert. Huh? Robert
Irvine.
Irvine. Robert Irvine. Yeah, dude. It's them and then Gordon Ramsay. Like wild.
I mean, Gordon transcends everything. Like
I
he is.
think we should give a moment of silence though for the Asian grandma that did all the cooking. She cooked with like meals, meals with Cooge and people like that.
She passed away.
Yeah, 67 years old. She had cancer.
Who was she to the Cooge?
No one. She was just she was like known as like the Asian grandma. She was on like TikTok and stuff like that. And
What? I
she
thought
made
he was
videos,
like
yeah.
secretly adopted or like she was an adopted.
No, no. She was just an internet star, a social media star just from like cooking and stuff. So RIP to her.
I mean, I gotta respect Cooge too.
Oh, dude,
He
I
is
wish we could get the Cooge on this show. I wish
he
he
is
would.
riding the coattails of something he did in a past life. Like he must have like stormed the beaches or
Dude, he
something.
was drinking with Bella Hadid. I mean, like that guy couldn't like in real life if he didn't have like a bajillion followers on like TikTok and Instagram. Like he wouldn't even be allowed like in the same zip code as
Bro,
Bella
he
Hadid.
moves merch on Shopify. Like there are
Does he
16-year-old
really?
kids doing that. Like you haven't really done anything. And the crazy thing is you're hopping on the bandwagon of other people that do like influencer style like chefs. Like that's the craziest shit too, because when we were
He
at the
looks like he
thing,
makes a mean chicken cutlet, though. I'll tell you
I'm
that.
sure he does. Chicken cutlets is like Italian blood, but there was for the first time ever when we were at the Bobby Flay thing, like one of the judges there was like an influencer chef. I've never seen that before. Up until now, they've always been like professional grade restaurant owners,
Right.
but no influencer.
So
What
yo,
is
so
the
watching people cook in a competition like that live, like what is that like? Is that like is it exciting or is it only more exciting on TV because it's like
the
edited?
only thing that I will say adds to it that is definitely edited for television is like these final minute finishes. Like most of the time, like they're not really racing to the end. Like they've allocated like enough time to figure their life out.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that show, but I always find it being like so corny, like the intros and stuff. Like, is it corny in real life when you're watching it, or is that like a post production thing?
Nah, it's definitely a post production thing. But like not for nothing, like when you're 30 seasons into anything, I feel like you found a formula that basically works. Like
I'm so glad.
why fuck with it?
I'm so glad Christian Petroni wasn't there. I fucking hate him.
Yo, I thought it
I
was him. I thought one of the hosts was him, and I looked at Rebecca and I was like, if that's fucking Christopher Petroni, we're forfeiting all the money and I'm walking out of this place.
bro,
I liked
I would
him
have went to the
up
store. I
until
would
the
have went to
point
the
he sold
deli,
Fortina. And then I immediately started hating him. Because
bro. I
one,
would have.
Fortina sucks now. Like I went to the one in
I just
Armonk.
hate listening to him talk. He's such a phony. I feel like I
He
don't
like
know.
overdoes it. I feel like he saw that like Cooge became like the stereotypical Italian, and he was like, "I'm just gonna do that times like 12." And that's not what like anybody wanted. I don't want
But
him
I
walk
feel like
there.
he's not even from the Bronx. I feel like he was born there and then like moved to like Armonk or Ardsley or some shit. Like, and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
I'm the Bronx guy." La, la, la. Dude, I would have bought I would have went to the nearest Latticino. I would have bought a pound of gabagool and I just would have hit him with it like spitballs if he was there.
like come here, bro.
Yeah, there you go. I'll be the gabagool
We
launcher.
throw
Here you
we
go.
throw
Ready?
mozzarella balls like snowballs around here.
I don't know. And honestly, like I want to say I feel like he'd be an alright dude, like if you like hung out with him in person. But I just this is not like for anybody listening or who's a fan or if God forbid like he actually sees this, like I'm not judging him as a human being because I don't know him, but I just the way he comes across on TV, like it doesn't make me want to like enjoy being an Italian American or eat Italian food. It makes me want to strangle him.
I also don't feel like there's
Not to
any
death, but
sincerity
just
or
until he stops
genuine.
talking.
He's not genuine at all.
No.
No, no part of him. Like Rebecca likes him, but I'm just like, as an
But she's not
Italian
Italian.
American who's like family came from there, I don't support it. It
I
doesn't do it
don't
for
know.
me.
He rubs me the wrong way. I don't know. Maybe if I met him in real life, whatever, maybe it'd be different. But
But he's
I
the
don't
guy that
know.
has Italian American like boxers. He's that guy. I'm gonna put a flag on my underwear.
Okay. Okay. I feel attacked. I feel seen, and I need you to relax first and foremost.
Oh my god! But overall, it was a great experience. Crazy, but it was fun. I do want to get on Triple Threat, but I found out Triple Threat only allows 18 people in, so
Wow.
I do not.
Do they film any of that shit down here in Florida, like Tampa or whatever the
No,
case?
it's not fucking spring training, bro. It's Food Network production.
God damn it. Live in the fucking nexus of fucking hell when it comes to like any kind of culture. You
Yeah,
know?
all your sports
Yeah, I'll
teams
be honest
visit
with you.
there.
I really appreciate you asking about my week.
We just
My week
didn't
less
get
exciting
there.
than yours,
We didn't get there.
but
We're there now.
I did watch the Golden Globes. And one thing I think one of the the two acting Golden Globes, Jeremy Allen White, he won for The Bear,
Of course.
and I am gonna butcher the sous chef's name. So I need to like Google it just so I can pronounce
How
it.
do you
Just
say it
because
phonetically? Why is the word phonetically so difficult to say?
and it's phonics. You got to be hooked on it to
Yeah,
get
but
it.
like there should be a simpler word for how to say something accurately because phonetically in itself is tough to say phonetically.
Right. Okay, so her name is Ayo Edebiri, and I knew her first name was Ayo. I didn't want to butcher her last name, but
She's a G, low key. I love her. She's awesome.
oh, she's dope. She's actually she's gonna be in something Marvel related. I think I
Of
read.
course she is, because at this point I'm gonna be in something fucking Marvel related,
You
and I
fucking
can't
better
wait.
let me know.
I can't wait till
You
they
better
call
let me
me.
know. But okay, so we both basically grew up working in restaurants until you branched out into a different thing. I stayed a lot longer than you did. But so Jeremy Allen White, who plays Carmi, and she plays Sid, right? Sydney?
She does.
He does, right? Yeah, I watched the show. It was a while. I watched like when it first came out, so like her name like. But and The Bear also won the Golden Globe for best comedy, which is not a comedy or a musical, but it's actually more of a drama. But I don't know, like the Golden Globes are fucking weird. Like you can have a drama and a comedy because they want to have like a certain amount of nominees in each category. So it's
Yeah.
like we're just gonna take some other dramas that we can't fit into one and put it into the comedy thing.
Yeah.
Um, which is probably their way of giving two shows the same award. Like we can't give two drama awards to two different shows, so we'll just shuffle the categories. But everyone always said I should watch it, especially my wife because she's in the restaurant business as well. That it's I got to tell you, it is very like this. The people like screaming corner, screaming herd. Like it's just I don't know, bro. It's so accurate and it's such a good show. Like I don't know if you watched it or if anyone out there has watched it, but it's on FX. It's called The Bear.
Bro,
Just a quick
religiously.
rundown.
I love it.
Quick rundown. Jeremy Allen White, who is in the Zac Efron movie. Ooh, by the way, we're gonna touch on that for a minute after this. Me and Allie went to go see Iron Claw.
Great.
Yeah. Um, so he's in that movie with Zac Efron about the wrestling family. He plays this guy Carmine. They call him Carmy. He's like the next big thing in cooking. Like he went to a prestigious culinary
He
school.
was the
He was
next
in
big thing.
Manhattan,
He worked at
working in
11
like
Madison, which was like
right, which is like if anyone knows anything about New York, 11 Madison
I think they
is
won
like
best restaurant in the
the
world twice.
yes
They
best
did.
restaurant in the world twice. Getting to be like a sous chef or like any kind of like chef in there is like
Yo, do you want to know fun fact about
It's like going into the military and then just being promoted to like president. Like it's
it's
crazy.
they
Like,
have their tasting menu, their 12-part tasting menu is
mhm.
$375 per person.
That's nothing to go there.
It's exclusively vegan now, which is pretty intense
Why? That's
because
weird.
dude, that's the next trend in food is vegan.
Mm.
And every table
I'm
has
not
their own
against it. I love
manager.
animals. Really?
Yes. It's bro, prestigious, but
I,
fancy. But yeah, he
I'll be
worked
honest
there.
with you.
He worked there in the show.
Yeah. And Joel McHale is his boss, who's like a jerk off.
I love Joe
He's
McHale.
the executive chef. Anyway, his brother is the dude who played Punisher, John Bernthal. And prior to the show starting, his brother commits suicide, and nobody kind of knows why. And he leaves him a restaurant, and it's like this shit dive that's like bleeding money. And they got like an uncle that's not really related to him, and like an Italian uncle is basically your dad's friend your dad grew up with that you called uncle, and he's like in the mafia. And
Is
throughout
he?
the course of the show, they get money from him,
Is
and he wants to turn this dive restaurant, like local shithole, into like the next like 11 Madison. And it's just getting the cooks that already work there that were used to just dicking around, not following the rules, like teaching them how to go from being like cooks off the street to like chefs, and all the while just dealing with like the death of his brother and family shit. And the one with Jamie Lee Curtis and his mom is a great episode. I think she should have been nominated for a Golden Globe for like the guest
that
appearance.
episode where they were doing the family dinner
Yeah.
gave me anxiety. It was
Oh
very.
yeah, dude.
You ever see Mother with Jennifer
Yeah.
Lawrence? I got that vibe. Like when all the
Yeah.
people were in the house and she couldn't get him out, and like nobody really knew what was happening. Like I
Yeah.
get like I have a sick claustrophobia. It's why like I have like trouble flying and stuff. But
Mhm.
like seeing all that chaos in the house like was ridiculous. It was so well done.
You know what gave me claustrophobic? You know what gave me anxiety about that episode was all the people sitting there and all the food cooking and them getting no closer to eating it, and it felt like you were never going to be done and never eat it. That's all I was thinking about with that episode, other than
It's
the other stuff that's going on. I'm like, they're cooking this and they're making this seven fish and da 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 because they're Italian in the show, and it's like, bro, like, there's so much going on. There's so much that can get fucked up. Like, she doesn't want anybody to help, but she needs help, and it's like, when is this food going to be ready? Like, yeah,
no, it was.
everybody's smoking 1,800
But
cigarettes.
like, look at that. Like that's how you know like they did a good job. Like overall, is that it
It's relatable,
provoked
even if your
two
family isn't
different
crazy.
thoughts in both of us. Like, and
Right.
we both understand that life personally and professionally because having an Italian family and working in a restaurant, like we both understand both those things
Oh
very well
yeah.
about that life.
Right. And honestly, I always said that like waiting, like even though it was a comedy and it was extreme, you know this, I worked at a Bennigan's for years, and the guy who wrote Waiting used to work at a Bennigan's. So Shenanigans in that movie is based on Bennigan's, and that movie is really accurate too. That's really accurate from like the comedic side, like all the different restaurant personalities, like the busboys that goof off and get high, the fucking one single mom waitress that fucking is like money hungry over every table, and complains about
Just
every
shark the
table.
shit at it. Like that's
The
another thing
restaurant
too is that
lifer.
most people don't realize that like the restaurant industry, like there's a whole language like
Dude,
sharking
if they ever
86
unionized, they'd be the biggest union in the country. Restaurant workers.
weapon.
That's how many restaurant workers there are.
It would be the biggest union in the country.
Yeah.
I mean,
If we
bro,
have, if
easily,
ever like server, bartender, whatever, if they all unionized, back of
easily,
house, front of
bro,
house,
easily.
it's wild. Do you know what the strongest union in the country is?
Is it the Teamsters
No, you'll never guess this. But
Library,
once I say it, you'll be like, "Oh shit."
the Library Associates?
No, the Major League Baseball Players Union. Like they're like beast. Like it. Do some research on it. It's insane. They're like one of the biggest unions, if not the biggest union in the country, and they're powerful as fuck.
How did collective bargaining allow for a nearly $1 billion contract then?
Because there's no salary cap.
Oh,
That's it. They fight to not have a salary cap. Every other sport has one. So in theory, in baseball, you can pay someone $1 billion a year. There's nothing stopping you from doing that, other than most people can't afford that. Like Elon Musk would have to like own the team, or like Jeff
mm,
Bezos.
Somebody just
You
needs to
know,
challenge him, and he'll probably fucking buy it.
bro. You know what? I honestly, I wish Jeff. There's no way Jeff Bezos would ever listen to this fucking podcast. But I actually had an idea for him. So you know how like Warner Brothers is supposedly like 40 something billion in debt, and that's why like they didn't release Batgirl and all this stuff. Like they're trying to take like the tax credits and stuff.
Hmm.
Um,
By what? Just
so
like
he,
writing off loss?
yeah,
Makes sense.
Bezos basically he bought MGM because he wants to like turn like Amazon into like a legit like movie studio branch. It would probably behoove him to literally like find a way to like consolidate like Warner Brothers and somehow like talk to the creditors or whatever and see if they can get that 40 some odd billion down a bit and just buy up all the debt and the company. That way he has literally he owns fucking Bugs Bunny, like every Warner Brothers character and movie that's ever
Bro,
been made,
AT&T
and then
thought it was
make new movies as
AT&T
like
thought it was
Amazon
cool
Warner
to do
Bros.
that though, and it didn't work. Like
Huh?
AT&T thought it was cool to do that. They did buy Warner Brothers and dropped the ball so heavily. They basically made Space Jam 2, which was a commercial to like the properties of Warner Brothers, and it failed.
Right.
I think the next
Well, I
person
think
looking
Bezos would do a better job because I think he would actually put like studio people like in
I think
charge, not just like a cell phone guy in charge of like a LeBron James movie. You know what I mean?
there's a
Like,
rumor that like HBO Max is like trying to pick up subscribers because they ultimately want to sell to Apple.
no,
Because
did you hear the other rumor?
what's that?
That HBO, that Warner Brothers and Paramount are talking about merging into one company, and they just have to wait because there's only you once you've had a merger, you have to wait like X amount of years before you can even explore another merger. So they can't even have like official like preliminary like legalized talks until March of this year, 2024.
Bro, do you realize if like these companies could just make better fucking movies, they wouldn't have to all merge with each other?
Well, it probably, dude, it probably has a lot to do with other stuff too. It probably has a lot to fucking do with like not only bombs but like outrageous contracts. I mean, you're $49 billion in debt, but your CEO is making like $30 million a year. Like,
That's because
hi,
they're paying a tenth of a penny to every stream license, right? Like we talked about this on the last one. Like
yeah.
the movie industry is so like it's there's a term for it. It's like zombie companies. Like these they just can't exist. You can't exist when you're spending so much more than you're making constantly. Like it's
It
over.
honestly, like when it started, like 100 years ago, it never nobody ever thought that it would be what it is now. And it's just like we said last time, it's not sustainable.
Nobody's really figured out streaming. It just sounds good on paper. Like, hey, we have a subscriber base. We're going to use all the money to license the people to get the people on to watch the things that we want them to watch. Then we're going to create original content with all that money, but then we don't have any more money to spend out on anything else.
And you know what's even crazier, dude, is
Borrowing from
that
Peter to pay Paul is
while
more
all
relevant now than it ever was.
while streaming is supposed to be the future, it's making fucking VHS and DVDs and Blu-rays and even fucking laser discs and everything. It's actually bringing physical media back because people are sick and tired of all the streaming bullshit.
I think
You
so.
know. Oh, speaking of, did you hear that they canceled the 4K release of The Abyss in
Yeah.
Britain?
So what was the deal with that? Were they trying to like change the ending? Because I did buy the remastered version because it launched on Amazon, but it was digital.
No, so the reason why they canceled it is because back when the movie came out, this was an issue. That the scene with the rat where they
But
show how they put the rat in the water and it starts gagging and everything, it almost dies.
yeah.
Under British law in the UK, that's considered like animal cruelty. Like honestly, like
Yeah, it
like
falls into
anybody
their like
involved with that
their
can be
censorship shit.
arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in reality, like I was reading an article and the guy said that like he could have used like CGI or a prosthetic. They didn't actually have to use a real animal, even though the animal like wasn't killed or hurt or anything. But in their law, like they're like, well, we want to delete it out because Disney owns it now, and they deferred per his contract. They deferred to Cameron. And Cameron's like, no, I'm not altering my movie. Like, fuck you. Like, just don't release it there then. So, and honestly, a lot of people said they have like PTSD from that movie. Like, uh, Ed Harris like suffered like daily panic attacks because he almost drowned on set. Like they had nicknames for the movie. It was called Son of Abyss, and there was another one that was actually pretty clever. but the abuse they used to call it because they said like the
Bro,
underwater scenes were
Cameron almost
brutal.
drowned during the filming of that movie.
Who?
Cameron, James Cameron.
Oh, him too. Yeah,
Yeah, he almost drowned, dude.
and he also like, he said that he like hates the ending of that movie because they went so far over budget that he had to compromise on the end of that movie.
So
You know,
I
yeah,
tried.
it
I
was like
remember. I think it was
anticlimactic for
like
him.
a week or two ago. You told me about like the alternate version. I tried
Hmm.
finding it online, and they literally just cut in scenes from like The Day After Tomorrow in 2012.
Really?
Yeah, it was so
My
fake.
dad
Like
had a VHS copy that had it.
it's so fake. Like somebody definitely shoehorned some bullshit in. So it's 100% not real. You know what I
Yeah, I
was
gotta find
thinking
it.
would have been a great idea? I was driving in the city the other day and I saw like an Aquaman 2 poster and I was like,
Hmm.
they probably could have just bought B-roll footage from Avatar 2 and shoehorned in Jason Momoa and had a better movie.
It was bad. You saw it,
No, but like, bro, I mean, that's one of their biggest struggles was the whole Amber Heard thing. Like, they didn't want her in the movie. They didn't want her out. Jason Momoa is
bro.
like, I
Warner
mean, he's
Brothers
a
is
name,
such a
but like,
fucking
he
mess.
has a divorce going on at the time. Like, and like, not for nothing, like, Aquaman's cool, but like, they still have not figured it out. I don't know how much longer they're going to give James Gunn, bro. I really don't. Like,
Well,
how
first
much,
movie
huh?
that wasn't him. The first movie is gonna be Superman Legacy in 2025.
Yeah, but like you're giving him another year and a half to figure it out. But like Blue Beetle is bombed, Flash is bombed. I don't
Well,
know
that was
how.
part of the Snyderverse
Yeah, but like at what point do you be like, yo, we need to move this along faster?
because it's honestly it's their most valuable IP.
If it wasn't for like Joker and like Batman with Robert Pattinson, like I swear to
Yeah,
God, those franchises like I don't
those are
understand
gonna
why they
have the
just
new Elseworlds title,
yeah, why
so that
don't
you
they
know
just
that they
go
take out of the main continuity.
they should just go the rated R version. Like honestly, like Marvel's never
Honestly,
gonna
maybe
do
they
that
will.
because they
Maybe
can't.
they'll instead of formatting the movie to fit the rating, maybe they'll just make the rating fit the story that they're telling and just not worry about it. I mean, there comes a point where you got to stop worrying about mass consumption and start worrying about like quality of like what you're putting
Because
out.
Michael Keaton, I mean, he's probably aged out now, but like that was meant to like revitalize like our age demographic, and he was a killer. Like he straight up killed people in Batman Returns and Batman.
Yeah.
Like there was, do you remember the scene? Like one of my favorite scenes. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. Like where he's hanging from the cathedral, like, and he sees the Joker about to get away on the thing, and that look on his face, he's like, "That's not happening." And then he shoots like that double batarang, which links
Yeah.
him to the statue.
Oh, that's such a good movie, dude.
And
Oh, it's
he
so
just
great.
he's like, I'm gonna hang out here until this guy dies.
It's so, dude. That's such a classic. I honestly, dude. So speaking of, because we can only talk about the train wreck that is Warner Brothers for so long, but we saw Iron Claw. So if anybody's not familiar with Iron Claw,
I am not.
um,
Give me a rundown. I am not familiar with
so
Miracle.
back in the day, like in the 70s and 80s, there was this family called the Von Erich family, and their original last name was Adkins or Atkinson, I think.
Oh, I thought it was like the diet.
Um, the father was like he was a wrestler. He never really quite made it to being like a big star, and he changed the last name to Von Erich, which I think was his mother's maiden name. And the family had like a curse, and there's six brothers. Only five of them are in the movie. They omitted one because they said it like fucked with the pacing to have all those brothers in it, which is really shitty. Pardon me, it's a really shitty thing to do to omit like an entire family member. But long story short, he presses all his sons to go into like wrestling, even though he like says that, oh, I wish you would have picked a different profession, but it's
And this is
complete
based on a
bullshit.
true story.
Yeah, and they're in the WWE Hall of Fame. But Zach Efron is the second oldest. The first oldest son died when he was like 5 years old. Then you have
Oh, that's
Zach
terrible. What
Efron's
year was this based
character.
on?
His name is Kevin Von Erich. He goes into wrestling, and then like for some reason the dad liked to pit like them against each other. Like it was
To get
so
them
weird.
fighting?
So yeah, no, not even like fighting, just like mentally like one would go for the title, and if he didn't think they did like well enough, he would get the brother to like shoot past them in like the rankings, and they own like their own like arena and everything, and it was just like it was weird to like just pit your kids like against each other in like a talent competition, like oh this, and he would openly tell them, oh so and so is my favorite, and you're my second favorite, like just real shitty dirtbag shit to do, like he fucked with these kids, dude, bad. And honestly, the only surviving brother is and I'm not ruining this for anybody because you can Google this. This is common knowledge. It's on Google. But Zac Efron's character is the only surviving brother. He had three brothers that killed themselves. One that died when he was a kid.
It's
Um,
terrible.
yeah, and then another one that died got sick overseas. He was wrestling and he had like something like intestinal burst and he like died in his he died in his sleep. Yeah, and he's out of all his brothers, dude. He's the only one that's left.
It's absolutely terrible. And they're with
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you,
WWE.
dude. The last scene of that movie, he has two kids. Zac Efron. He's sitting in his front yard. He's watching them play, and he breaks down crying because the father always told him every time there was a funeral, he would be like, "Listen, you're not gonna cry for your brother. You're gonna sit there and you're not gonna cry." And so they were forced to like hide. Even the mother, they were forced to like hide like every emotion they had every time something bad, and like they all got it in their heads that like the curse was real, and it caused a couple of them to kill themselves. Like he like when he had his kids, Zac Efron's character Kevin, like he was like sleeping out of the house, and he was like, "I'm not gonna let this curse like get my son." And the wife was like, "Bro, like it's just fucking coincidence. Like there's no such thing as a fucking curse." But he's playing with, and you have siblings, so you can like attest to this. Maybe this will hit home for you. I don't know, but he was like sitting there watching his sons play like football with each other. They're like, I don't know, maybe like 5 and like 7 or whatever.
Hmm.
And he starts like crying, and the kids like notice it, and they come over to him, and they're like, "Dad, like Daddy, what's wrong?" And he goes, "Nothing. I was just watching you guys play, and I used to be a brother, and now I'm not because
Wow.
he has no more brothers." Yeah, and his kids go, "Well, we'll be your brothers, Dad." And then he like hugs them and like breaks down crying, and then it ends with all three of them playing football. But that's crazy to sit there and just have that thought. Like you're watching your kids play and you're like, damn, this used to be me and my brothers and now I'm all alone. For every one of those things would be preventable if your dad wasn't like real shitty. And the fucked up part is that A24 had problems. They're the people who released it, which they make phenomenal stuff. Like mostly horror movies, but all their shit is phenomenal. Like if you've never seen like an A24 movie, definitely like just pick one and watch it.
Yeah.
But
No, it's crazy.
and they had like a fuck up with post production and they didn't submit the movie to any of the festivals like Cannes or anything, and that's why it's not nominated for anything. Because a lot of people are petitioning for Efron to be nominated for Best Actor. Like he's great in that movie. Everybody's great in that movie. The movie itself is great. So if you get a chance to see it, it's definitely worth your 2 hours for sure.
No, it's awesome,
But the
bro.
Iron Claw is the fucking move that they do. That's why it's called that.
It's so
But yeah,
interesting, bro. I
five
feel
out of
like
five still.
there's so many like behind the mat, beyond the mat. Like there's so many stories that like transcend like that industry.
And
At
they
that,
don't get a lot of credit because it's the outcomes are predetermined. So it's not like a football game or a baseball game or whatever where like you don't know who's going to win going into it. But I mean, it doesn't change the fact that like these guys are underpaid. They're they get fucked up. A lot of them get addicted to drugs because they're in a lot of fucking pain. I mean, Ric Flair is in the movie, like the somebody playing Ric Flair, which is I agree with the masses on the internet. The guy who plays him is almost like he's doing an impression of Ric Flair and not like being Ric Flair, and it kind of takes you out of it a little bit, you know.
I
But
mean, it's hard. Ric Flair is,
woo,
yeah, he's a very big stereotype in himself,
bro, has anyone probably ever done more cocaine than Ric Flair?
bro.
Like
No,
he's like if cocaine became a human being, it would be Ric Flair. We share a birthday, by the way.
do you really?
Yeah, me and the Nature Boy.
That's great. That's a cool
Fuck
person
yeah,
to share with.
it is.
I share
You
with
got
Mariano
Mariano
Rivera.
Rivera.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
man. You have Mariano. Do you have somebody else that's pretty cool? Allie has fucking Indiana Jones.
that is a good one.
That's a good one.
That is a good
Yeah.
one. Now Mariano, I mean, I'm good with. I mean, his wins are solidified. Like,
And he transcends like just being a Yankee fan. Like everyone knows Mariano Rivera. Like I share a birthday with Paul O'Neill, who if you live in like Oklahoma might not know who Paul O'Neill is. You know, on the Yankees,
but
played right field from '91
but
till
everybody,
2001.
but Mariano's like cheater, bro. Like everybody knows who this dude is.
Exactly.
But
Exactly. But yeah. So I mean, just real quick, like we talked about the Bear and the Golden Globes, but just a real quick rundown. Um, Best actor was Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, which I have not seen.
I do like Paul Giamatti.
Oh, I mean, yeah, dude, he's great. He was on the Smartless podcast. He's actually a really interesting guy to talk to. Fucking Downey got supporting actor finally. RDJ.
I heard there
Um,
was like some beef because like Robert De Niro thought he won, but like he didn't.
no, he did not win. Which he's actually great in Killers of the Flower Moon. I don't know if you watched that, but
That's Leo's
dude, not
movie,
for
right?
nothing. Like I like Ryan Gosling, but the fact that he's nominated for Barbie and they couldn't get Zac Efron in anything because the studio fucked up, it's annoying. I really enjoyed
I
Barbie, and
mean,
he's great in it, and I think his performance should be celebrated. But there's gotta be someone we can take
bro,
out. Like,
when a movie crosses $1 billion rev mark,
right.
they're going to be nominated.
People are saying that RDJ is gonna finally get the Oscar this year, so we'll see.
We'll
Uh,
see. He also said that some
Divine
of his
Joy
best
Randolph won.
acting was as Iron Man, but he'll never get
Dude,
recognized
it's
for it.
true. When are we gonna get over that shit and stop treating like the genre of movie doesn't count when the directing is great, when the plot is great? Like, why is it always got to be like special effects and sound editing and shit? Like, he should have been gotten an Oscar, at least been nominated for any one of the Avengers movies or anything. Like he's even like Chris Evans, like as Captain America. Like that's why those MCU era movies, and I feel like we could do a whole episode on the MCU. That's
It's
why
gonna have to happen sooner or later.
those movies, I feel like when you're watching those movies, it doesn't feel, at least to me, like you're watching a movie. It feels like I'm watching recorded history because they're so good at embodying Iron Man, Captain America, Doctor Strange, like fucking the Hulk. Like you almost believe that you're watching like a documentary. I know it's like far fetched and none of that shit would actually really happen, but like
But to
even
build up
like
characterization around something that's so clearly fictional is it shouldn't be underrated.
yeah, dude, they're so fleshed out. They're so synonymous with those characters like that you feel like they really are those people. Like if I saw Chris Evans walking down the street, I feel like my first instinct would be, "Oh shit, it's Captain America," before I realize Captain America is not even a fucking real person. And that's what's
But
missing from the MCU now.
I think the inherent
It
problem
feels
is
like people are playing characters. They're not like them. You
no,
know what I
I
mean?
think
They don't,
the inherent problem that you're running into at Marvel now is that it's the same thing that I feel like Netflix has with Stranger Things. Like writers have kind of gone the way of we need a very big supporting cast where each of them gets like a unique individuality. But like, can one like if I took any single person from Stranger Things, could I
right.
give them 10 episodes? The answer is no.
No.
They work
No.
in a group, and that's what
Well,
Marvel's
no, I don't think
become.
that's true. I think you could spin off
Finn,
Dustin
see,
and what's his name?
but there's an and. Can Dustin take 10 episodes by himself?
No, no. But who am I thinking of? Joe Keery, the babysitter with the baseball bat. I always forget his name. He's Allie's favorite.
Oh, the one that kind of yeah,
He
Eddie.
was like the popular guy in high school.
Is it Eddie or Steve?
No, not him. Oh my god, this is killing me. He was like the most popular guy, and then once he graduated high school, he realizes that being popular was nothing.
Yeah, his name is
He was
Steve.
Steve. Pardon me, sorry. The cold is going around my house. Um, Steve. See, I feel like Steve might be able to carry his own show just
Steve and Dustin
because,
could.
but I know for a fact that him and Dustin could.
Because
But
I'll
I
be
really
honest,
feel
bro. Like
like, or
11
like even
got
him and like Ethan Hawke's daughter, Maya Hawke.
bro.
Them
11
two of
got
them could like
11 got a chunk of season 5, and what did it do?
season 4. You mean?
4. It was just like
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like writing has become ensemble cast and not individual.
Because that's the problem, dude. It's every time anything is minutely successful, instead of like trying to build and cultivate what made it successful, it's just like who can we cherry pick from this to spin off? That's all it is. Nobody tells a story from beginning to end, and that's what made the MCU, the original MCU, so great. Was that yes, it had after credit scenes that tied into the Infinity Saga, and yes, there was an overarching larger story always being told, but every single movie had a beginning, a middle, and an end. It was its own entity that had parts of it that were going to tell you what happens in the next movie. So Captain America, the next Iron Man, the next Hulk movie, the next Black Widow, like all that shit. Next Avengers, next Thor. It was all its own movie as well. The movie that they're coming out with now, it's almost like you're constantly reading one chapter of a book. It's like chapter one, chapter one, chapter one, chapter one, and by the time you get to chapter two, nobody gives a fuck anymore
Nope.
because you feel like you've read the same chapter over and over again.
Agreed.
And you know me, like I am like comic books are a huge part of my life. Like honestly, like the pure like joy I've got out of watching the characters I read my entire life be portrayed on screen and be portrayed well is something that I'm glad I got to see in my lifetime. And it like I'm sad that my son, like, even though he's like almost two, but like he still has a lot of time. But like I feel like he's not gonna have anything from his generation that he'll see come to fruition on in person
I
like
mean,
that.
it's
And
sooner
just
or
be like,
later
wow.
they're gonna have to figure it out because here's the thing. Like going back to the Bear for a second, the Bears 2 seasons, and they proved that every single person on that cast in season 2 got their own episode.
Right.
Everybody had their own individualized episode, which allowed them and forced them to flesh out story for each individual person, which innately makes you more emotionally attached to each of them when they become an ensemble again. No
I'm gonna
other
ask
series is
you
doing that.
I'm gonna ask you, and I wanna see if we are simpatico on this. Who do you think had the best story arc in that entire show? Like from the first time you meet them until the end of the second season.
I think I'm gonna here, and this is gonna come with a caveat. I think Cousin,
That's it. That's who I was gonna say.
because I think Carmi's is about to, based on how season 2 ended. I think Carmi has always been like this overarching for everybody else's development. And I
Right.
feel like season 3 is finally going to deal with his development as a person. But I think Cousin, like that episode Forks, where they send him to 11 Madison, is brilliant.
Oh
Brilliant.
yeah.
So I 100% am going for Cousin.
Yeah. Dude. Honestly, I think he goes from like the dirtbag jerk off, who's still a dirtbag jerk off, but learns that like you don't have to be that way just because everyone expects you to be that way because you used to be that way. Like you can take something seriously and still be yourself. Like
He's
that
given
scene when he
purpose.
shows up with the suit
Yeah.
and he's like, "I wear suits now," and
He's given
nobody was
purpose.
like, "That's it." Nobody gave him the pushback he thought he was going to get. He's like, "I wear suits now," and they're like, "Awesome, that's really great. Looks good on you." Like when he takes ownership of the line, the expo line at that restaurant
Oh,
when it's
when he gets
crashing.
when Carmi gets stuck in the walk in.
Yeah, and he's never done it before, but he's like, but he practiced it a little bit,
He
and just
crushed
the
it.
fact that he like, it needs to be done. It has to, somebody has to do it. Why not me? That's the key to most success, bro. I feel like is that something has to be done about something, no matter what industry you work in, whether it's starting your own business or whatever. Someone's going to do it. Why
Yeah.
not you? Why not you?
No, I think
You know?
he has a really good redemption story. He has a really good growth story, and
Yeah.
I think in a weird way, his development is going to wind up being the biggest impact because it's going to take that entire cast that you're now attached to
Uh-huh.
bring Carmi back.
And I think he's also primed for a relapse of some sort, reverting back
I never would
just
have guessed the
to
Bear
get
would
forward.
have hit a note the way it did. Like it was just like this random show that somebody texted me about. Like, yo, check this out, and I was like,
Yeah,
all right, cool. I like food. Like, I'll check it out, and it had me, bro. It's had me since the beginning.
yeah, it's a really great show. And honestly, I think that Carmies is probably the worst story arc, only because it's so stagnant. Like he went from the nobody, he became like on the verge of being a real somebody that people respect, and
Hmm.
it's kind of like he's stayed there. He hasn't like fallen off, nor has he shot past what people thought he was going to be. And you're right. I think that his story arc is going to take front and center in the third one. And
Yeah, because
I
I
don't
think
know if it's going to be him finally getting to be the chef he knows he could be, and like world renowned and get kind of like too big for his britches kind of thing. I think that's the route. Personally, I think that's how it's going to go. is that he's going to start, people are going to want him on the Food Network. You might see guest stars like Bobby Flay, people like that. And he's going to build up the bear and he's going to forget about it because he's going to be so overcome with being a celebrity chef
Yeah.
that he's going to forget where he came from. I think that's my opinion where it's going to go.
I
I could be
also
wrong.
think he's running from success because I think part of him is like, I achieved all this with 11 Madison and it cost me my brother because my brother killed himself for,
And he should
that
have
part.
been there.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
part of the story is still empty. There's the relationship with his mom that kind of showed up in season 2 that like you weren't really aware of.
Yeah.
So I
I
think
honestly think that he's going to equate success with
pain,
yeah,
and
exactly.
that's where it's going to go. And as the bear grows, because now he's built this team that can do it, I think you're going to see him do a lot of like self sabotage season 3.
Well, don't we all?
Don't
Don't we
we
all?
all, man? But no, I think this was bro, it was a good episode. I definitely like the bear. I think we touched on a lot of good points. Fun fact: there's no hand doubles in the bear.
No, really.
That's very interesting because
So all the
I
cutting and chopping is them.
I love that about them. Yeah, no, for sure.
You know who I love but kind of annoys me at the same time on that show?
Who?
The Baker dude.
Oh yeah. He's
Because
a
I
real
love his
baker.
development and I like his character, but I also it just from someone who worked in a restaurant for so long to see like the entire restaurant crashing and burning around you and you're so involved with like the donuts and everything that you're in your own fucking world that you don't even fucking help. And they're like, "Hey, did you get started on that?" "Oh no, I've been trying to perfect this like icing." Like, fuck you, dude. Like that's why he gets fired. Because there's only so much that you can take. Like, yes, you want to cultivate this talent that he's found,
But
but
not
that
at the
doesn't mean
expense of
that
the
like you
reality
don't
you're
help,
in.
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like you're weeded and you have 17 tickets. Like you need to
yeah,
hop somewhere where you're
dude.
beneficial.
In the restaurant business, you cannot say that is not my job, and he doesn't say it in the show, but he does
He
it
acts
when
it
he
out.
doesn't. He has no wherewithal of what the fuck is going on around him, and it always annoyed me. But I like his character, but I just that shit always fucking annoyed me,
Yeah.
you know.
But bro,
But so real quick, just Oppenheimer won the best picture for drama.
I mean,
And
I still need to
February
see it.
16th is premiering on Peacock.
All right, I got 2 weeks.
All right. So
2 weeks.
it's been a wonderful episode. It's always good talking to you. Always good talking to you guys out there in YouTube world and wherever else you consume podcasts. And I'll see you next Sunday.
Catch you later, buddy.
Yeah, man.